Is it sale time already? I mean, seriously, that April sale just like totally snuck up on me. Although I checked my data and the last 2 years we did have a sale in April, so there's for 3 in a row. Whether you are aware of it or not, TPT does regular sales throughout the school year so that teachers can get their resources for 25% off, which is even more than we can typically put them on sale ourselves, which makes it an extra great deal for teachers. This is really important because a lot of people are shopping at the TPT sale, and so you want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to have a really good sale day. Now, having a good sale day can be hard and it depends on a lot of different things, but in this video, we're gonna be talking about marketing and content that you should put out during, right before, and right after the sale to make sure that you are able to have your best sale ever. Because seriously, sales can be a huge source of revenue if you do them correctly. Now, before we get into it, I am going to mention that this whole video is going to assume that you already have some platforms at your disposal. So maybe that's email, maybe that's social media, whatever it is, that's what we're going to be talking about. So if you know, don't have any of that, that's fine. But do be aware that you are not gonna be able to implement these strategies until you do. So if that's something that you're interested in, then you can check out some of my videos, I'll link down below, talking about marketing and different platforms that you can be on. And if you have more specific questions, let me know them down in the comments. All right, now that being said, let's hop into the video. So before we start with the actual, like I'm gonna tell you like, here's the game plan of like, do this, send this, send this, send this. Before we get into that, we need to tackle the question of like, how much you should be posting, how much you should be sending to, you know, your email list and all that kind of stuff. So what you need to think about is how it is proportionate to what you normally post. So I know there's some people maybe watching this video, maybe it's even you, that only send emails to their email list like once a month, okay? If that's what you do, then during the sale, you don't wanna send like 20 emails because people are gonna be like, you never email me and now there's all of these messages, like what is going on? On the flip side, I email my list like 3 times a week. So if they hear from me, you know, quite a few times during the sale, it's not a big deal. I still wouldn't do 20. But if I send them more emails during the sale, they are already expecting to hear from me on a weekly basis, like multiple times a week. So it's not quite as weird. So I'm gonna share like exactly what I sent to my email list, but it's gonna be based off of my, you know, sending schedule. And if yours is different, do be aware of that. Same thing with social media. I typically post every day or every other day on my Instagram, and I talk on stories pretty much every day on Instagram. So because of that, if I post, you know, once a day or even twice a day during the sale, it doesn't seem super out of the ordinary versus if you only post, you know, once every couple of weeks and then you post 6 times, then not only is it gonna feel strange to your subscribers or your followers, they also may not see it all because of the way social media algorithms work. And on top of all of that, Instagram or Twitter or whatever you use might be concerned that there's something wrong with you. Like maybe you got hacked because all of a sudden you're posting all these things all at one time. So you do want to make sure that you're kind of posting and sending things in a way that is proportionate to what you regularly post. So as I talk, if you're like, wow, that seems like a lot, that might be because you're not sending as much as I am, and that's fine. And you don't have to do what I do. I just am gonna share, you know, what's been working for me. So let's talk before the sale. The sales typically are 4 to 5 times a year, and you know, after a while, you kind of know when they're coming. But TPT doesn't ever announce them until they're pretty close, like usually about a week away. So if you aren't expecting them, or if you are expecting them, my rule of thumb is as soon as I know that a sale is happening, I will pretty much not do any actual like active selling of my product. So I'm not gonna post on Instagram and be like, this is why my product's amazing, you need to go buy it. I'm not going to send emails that are trying to convince people to purchase. I'm still going to send things, I'm still gonna post things, but that's not gonna be the main purpose. Instead, before the sale happens, I'm going to focus on a couple of things. On social media, I really focus on people joining my email list. And the reason is I know that I'm about to do a lot of email marketing, and I want to make sure as many people as possible are on that list by the time that we get there. So if I know a sale is coming up soon, or if they announce a sale, I'm immediately going to go on the offensive of trying to get as many people on my email list. To do that, I'm going to share some of the freebies that I have, and I will mention them in my stories, and I will post about them on my feed and all of those things to make sure that people are aware that they do exist. Even if you've talked about them before, if it's been a while, people might not have seen them. So you can, you know, make mention of those again. If it's a while between now and the sale, you know, whenever you're watching this, then you might even have time to make a new freebie that is perfect for when the sale happens. So think about that kind of stuff. How can you get people to your email list? That is like my main goal in the week or two before the sale happens. That doesn't mean that's the only thing I'm talking about, and that doesn't mean I'm not talking about products at all, but it just means that that's like my main focus and where my priorities lie at the moment. Along with that, there are other ways you can kind of prep people for the sale without telling them that there's going to be a sale, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's kind of 3 ways you can prep people for the sale, and so one is going to be reviews. If you leave a review on a paid Teachers Pay Teachers resource, then you actually get site credits, which means that you get like literal money off of your purchase, which is wonderful. So a lot of people don't know that. I didn't know that until I became a seller, and I only know it because I was a seller. I am a seller, you know. So make sure that you tell people about that. You can post that on your feed, you can post it to your stories, you can send it on your Twitter. I don't even know what Twitter uses, but you can, you know, mention that and make sure that people are aware that it does exist. Along with that, giveaways are a great way to get more exposure on your account right before a sale. A lot of people do giveaways because TPT actually will give you a $10 gift card to give away. They don't do it for everyone, but you can register on their like sale announcement emails. And so you can use that, or you can use, you know, your own money. You can purchase something, you can do digital things, whatever you want. And you can host a giveaway in order to get more people on your social media or on your email list, or however you want to do it. There's about a million different ways you can do giveaways, but one thing that's really handy is if you can team up with another seller and have people like follow both of your accounts. Or another option would be to have them tag a friend in the comments for extra entries and have them make sure that they're subscribed in order to be able to win the giveaway. So that way you're getting more people subscribed to your feed. You can also, you know, tell them to get extra entries by joining your email list or following you on TPT or any of those kind of things. Those things will just help you, you know, gain more exposure right before a sale to make sure that your audience is as big as possible. Another thing you can do with the sale is if you already know kind of what you want to promote, which again, we'll talk about in a minute, then you can share whatever people need before that. So if maybe during the sale you decide that you're gonna like really push, I don't know, no, I have no ideas. Writing activities. Okay, so maybe you have like a line of writing activities. Maybe before you post that and you start talking about that, before the sale, you talk about other things related to writing. So maybe you're talking about like my favorite tools for getting kids to write, or different ideas that kids enjoy writing about, or things like that. So you're kind of prepping them for the products that you're going to be selling them, if that makes sense. And if that's like way too much, then just but those are all really good ways to get your audience as big as possible. So my goal right before the sale is make my audience as big as possible, get as many people on my email list as I can, and I am not actively selling things. Again, I might mention a product, but it's not the same like go buy this as it would be later on during the sale. Now, once the sale happens, we're gonna talk through like email strategy, social media strategy, and then I'll give you some quick tips at the end, which do not miss. So make sure you go all the way to the end so that you can check those out. So during the sale, for email wise, I typically send like 5 emails. Now again, I send my people like 3 emails a week anyway, so they're very used to hearing from me. And with that, I will also say that I will not email as much. So like I typically email on Tuesday. I'm not sending a regular Tuesday email and another email on the same day because that's a lot. So on my email right before the sale, again, I'm not gonna be actively selling things. I'm just gonna be, you know, sharing free content, sharing ideas, lessons, and stuff like that. A lot of time I also like to send freebies and be like, hey, look this free thing that I made you. Isn't it exciting? And so then during the sale, I send about 5 emails. It's a lot, I'm aware. So the first one, usually they're Tuesday, Wednesday. So I'm gonna assume that it's Tuesday, Wednesday. So typically on Tuesday in the morning, I'll send an email, and in this email, I always start it with either a story or something like motivational, but something for people to read. And just a couple of paragraphs where I like really try to connect with the reader and the subscriber, and just really try to like make them see like I am one of you, because I am, you know, a full-time music teacher. And if you're not, that's fine. But just really it's being like, I hear you, I see you. And then in that, I'm going to do something that's going to lead me into talking about the sale. So for example, in, you know, 2021, it was like the most ridiculous year ever. And so by the time we got to the May sale, I was like, I am so done. And so my message to my people was, look, you're doing an amazing job. If no one's told you, like, look at all these things you have accomplished. You've done this, you've done that, you've done that. And this is hard. And I don't know about you, but like, I'm feeling really over it. And if you're feeling that same way, then good news, there's a sale, you know, today. And today you can get 25% off all these resources that are going to help you save time and make your life so much easier. That's really like the angle I try to come at, is that my resources are engaging, but they're also really easy to use. So most of them are either just like print and go, or they're like slap it on the screen and go, and that's all you really need to do. Some are, you know, cut and laminate, but mostly they're very easy to use. And that's something I really try to highlight. And so that would be something I would highlight. And then in that email, I'm going to say, if you're looking for, you know, a couple of fun things to do, here are my suggestions for what you should buy. And the reason I do this is because TPT, there's a lot of products on TPT. I don't know how many products there are on TPT, but there's a lot. And even just in my store, like, y'all, I have 600 products. And that's a lot. And so if someone goes to my store, like, they can be very easily overwhelmed because there's just so much. And they're like, what do I even buy? And if you don't have time to like sit there and peruse and enjoy, like, you know, me and the J. Crew online catalog, because your girl loves to peruse that place. If you don't have that kind of time because you're like, you know, in planning or at lunch or something, then you need some quick ideas. And so I always highlight 2 to 3 resources that are really timely and really good for that are really timely. And these resources are always in bundles so that I can share the bundles, because those are gonna sell a lot better. And these are the main focus that I have for my sale. We'll talk more about that in a second, but that's my point. So I have, you know, a story or something motivational, and then I talk about the sale, and then I say, here's 3 things that you should buy. Go shop the sale. Don't wait. You want to put that wordage in there. Don't wait, because the sale ends on Wednesday at midnight. And I know people miss it because I always get a lot of sales the day after a sale, and I'm assuming it's from people who did not, or who forgot to shop the sale or didn't see the email or whatever. But again, I sent out 5, so if you missed it, like, it's not my fault. So that is in the morning. Then in the afternoon, I will typically highlight one product or one like product line. And so I'll send another email and I'll just share like, this is why this is amazing. This is why you should do it. This is so great. And so it's just really highlighting that resource. I don't want to use the same words in all of the emails because that's obnoxious. So there's that. Then on Wednesday in the morning, I send an email, and usually the subject is something like, this is the last day, or like last day for TPT sale, or last day for music lessons on sale, or something to that effect. Because this email, the whole point is like, I want to catch your attention and I want you to know so you don't miss out. That way, if people are, you know, just deleting things in their inbox, they're like, oh, sale, okay. I know, because I totally do that. So that is my purpose for this email. In this email, it's usually pretty short, and I'll say, you know, like all the details of what you should, of the sale. And then I'll have, again, those 3 things that I'm promoting, and I'll typically describe them in a good bit of detail, or I might do like bullets of what you get in each one, so that way people can like really see what they are, okay? Then on Wednesday, in the middle of the day, usually I feel like 2 to 4 o'clock is pretty good, because that's when most people are sitting at their desks at work, or like, you know, they might still have planning that day and they're at work. And so I found that it was really helpful to do it while they're still at work. In this email, I showcase another resource. And sometimes I do something that's not one of the three, and sometimes I pick one that is one of the three. So it just kind of depends on, you know, whatever I want to do. And then on Wednesday night, I send a very, very short email that literally just says like last chance. And then it'll say like, hey, I don't want you to miss out. This is the last chance to shop, you know, elementary music resources on sale, and here are the details. I don't link to anything. I just say shop the sale now and like a link, and that's it. This one is very quick. It's very easy. I literally copy and paste it every year. I think I got the lighting fixed. All right, so that is my email marketing strategy. Now, again, I send my people a lot of emails. So even though it seems like a lot, it's proportionate to what I send. If you don't send a lot of emails regularly, don't send this many during the sale because it's gonna be obnoxious. Maybe just 1 or 2. For example, in my Becca's Bible class TPT shop, I only send 1 email a week. And so I only send like 2 emails during the sale, usually 1 each day, because it's more proportionate to what I'm doing. All right, now in addition to email, let's also talk social. So in social, I will actually do a lot of the same things. And with this, a lot of times I go to my email because I'm on my own email list. So like I'll go and, you know, check it out, and I'll copy and paste some of the words so that I don't have to rewrite them. But with social, I typically post, I would say 3 to 4 times. So with this 3 to 4 times, the first time that I post is like a sale announcement. With this announcement, there's lots of different ways you can do that. You can do, you know, if you're on Twitter, you can just do like a little tweet. If you're on Instagram, you can do a reel, or you can do a video, or you can do just a post. I typically like to do either a reel showing a couple of different products, or a carousel showing a couple of different products. But my goal is always to show off my products, because I don't just want people to shop the sale, even though yes, like it would be good for you, I guess, but I want them to shop my store during the sale. So I want to showcase products that people can buy from my store. And so I'm going to Instagram and I will post either a reel or a carousel where you can see lots of different products, and a lot of times they'll have a theme. So like this past one was in April, and I did all like spring resources, and so I shared a bunch of different spring resources. And with that, I say usually in the first thing, because you can only see one line on Instagram, I'll say like music lessons on sale or like something like that, so people know it's important. And then I'll share, you know, like all the details of the sale in that. Sometimes I honestly am not the best about social, because you have to like, you can't batch them as well as email, and so sometimes I just forget to post. But if I remember, I'll do that at like my lunchtime, and then when I get home from school, or sometime at night, I will post another post where I'm sharing usually a highlight of my resource. So maybe the first time I shared all my spring resources, this time I'm sharing like, hey, you should use this Write the Room activity because it's so much fun. It gets your kids up and engaged while they're writing rhythms. Like, it's really great. And again, I'm showcasing that. And I'll typically pick the same thing that I'm sending in the email. That way I can, you know, do the same thing, and I can copy and paste, or if I don't want to copy and paste, I still at least have it in my brain. I don't have to come up with a bunch of new things. So that is why we do that. On Wednesday at my lunchtime, typically I will do another post where I'm like, this is your last chance to get music resources for, you know, 25% off. And with that, again, I'll post usually a carousel, or a couple of posts, or maybe a reel where I'm sharing a couple of different things. Then if I remember, that night I will also share either a reel or a carousel showcasing another product, or sometimes I'll do like, here are 3 spring rhythm products, or here's, you know, 3 of my favorite rhythm games, or something like that. Now, people don't always see them the first day that you post them. So with this one, I always try to not mention the sale until the end. I will say, you know, this last day for the sale, but it's not quite as like in your face as the other ones. So the reason I'm telling you that is because if someone sees it on Thursday, I don't want them to feel like bummed out because they missed the sale. So there's that. Now with social media, the main thing is that you want to make sure that you are standing out. So you obviously don't have to do what I do, of course. You could do completely different things. And one thing you can do is also to make reels that maybe aren't showing your products, but are either like sharing a product or just a reel to announce the sale. So I'm thinking like this stuck out in my mind, so it's probably a good idea. Pocketful of Primary did like a reel where she was like throwing confetti, and that was a real big eye catcher because I was like, oh, why is she throwing confetti? Because there was a TPT sale. And there were a couple of really good reels that I saw on Instagram like that. But make sure whatever you do stands out. So you don't want it to be the same as everybody else's, which is why I like to use my own products so that I can, you know, have something that's different than everybody else's. And we'll talk about that a little bit more later, but think of ways that like yours is going to stand out if people follow multiple people who are all kindergarten teachers, okay? Now, one little shout out, we did email, we did social, and I do want to mention that TPT has changed their notes to follower feature. And in changing that, we used to only be able to send one a month, and now we can send one a week. So during the sale, a smart thing to do would be to use that one a week to promote the sale in case people haven't seen it, or maybe you send it the day before so people can, you know, get ready. If you're going to do that, then you can just add, you know, go to your little drop down menu, go to notes to followers and send it there. If you already wrote all your emails, a smart thing to do is go copy, paste, because the likelihood that someone is going to see your email, read your email in detail, and go read your note to follower, the same person, are pretty slim. So you really don't need to stress too much about that, and instead I would save that time and do it that way. Now, I'll be honest, I never used notes to followers ever in years until they just changed it to once a week instead of once a month. And since then I've sent like 2, and I have, you know, I think I made $30 off of each one, so like I'm feeling pretty good about that. And I'm going to now try it more on the regular and just see how it pans out. So I can't give you lots of details on that yet, but I did send some, I did get some sales. We'll see how I like it. That is something you can do though, especially if you already wrote out the emails. All right, so that was like the actual template of what to do. Now here's a couple of quick tips before you leave. These are very important, so don't click out of the video. Okay, number 1, do not promote the sale too early. TPT does not allow you, 1, to promote the sale too early, but even when they do, you know, give you a couple of extra days, just don't. I do not tell anyone about the sale until usually the day of. I have tried, like every once in a while, I'll send an email the night before and be like, hey, just FYI, there's gonna be a sale tomorrow, go load up your cart and all of that kind of stuff. And I've also sent on Sundays, I always send an email, so sometimes at the bottom I'll just be like, hey, PS, there's gonna be a TPT sale this week, just letting you know so that you're aware, go fill up your wish list or whatever. I would not do it sooner than Sunday. Like, I would not talk about it on Saturday, do not talk about it on Friday, do not talk about it any earlier than that. And if you don't want to talk about it at all, then don't. The reason is because then a lot of people will wait until the sale, and so sometimes you'll see the sales will dry up before the sale. And hopefully, you know, the sale is proportionate enough to that to make it worth it, but sometimes it's not. And so don't be that person that's out there promoting the sale with like a whole week and then nobody makes any sales for a lot of days before it happens. Just, you know, make it a surprise or make it the night before, maybe 2 days before. I would even hesitate on that. Like I said, if I do that, I usually put it at the very bottom of my email so you have to actually read it. And so just, you know, don't promote too early because the sales will dry up and it won't just be your sales, it'll be everybody's sales. So just don't do it. Number 2 is that you want your store to stand out. So in social media, in your email heading, your, like, what are those called? Subject lines. You want to make sure that your store stands out. So don't do the same thing that everybody else is doing. Don't post the same thing that everyone else is doing. And so with that, TPT gives you some like sale banners that you can download. There's some for, you know, Facebook and some for Instagram and all of that kind of stuff, which is really nice of them. However, if there's like 50 people that are all posting the same picture on their Instagram, that's not very helpful. So if I were you, I would post something different. Maybe something eye-catching. Maybe, you know, you do a reel. If you don't like reels, you don't have to do a reel, you can do a carousel. Like, do something that's going to make it stand out. If nothing else, at least make your own picture so that yours doesn't look like everybody else's and you can make it your brand colors and all of that kind of stuff. personal opinion. So just really think about how your store is gonna stand out during the sale. You can also use those banners to put like as your TPT banner, like in your quote box. I've never done that because it seems like a lot of work that I'm just not gonna do. But if you have done that and had success, I would love to hear about it. So let me know in the comments. It just doesn't seem worth it to me. It seems like, because I have to remember how to change it, and then I gotta remember to change it and how to change it afterwards. Just, But you're welcome to do that. But I wouldn't use those for social media because everybody does that. And so then yours is just gonna like blend in with it. Number 3 is going to be to choose specific things to market. This was like the game changer when it came to marketing for me during the sale. When I realized that the smart thing to do was to just talk about a couple of products, it made a huge difference. And I can tell because I'll look at my data and I can see that people are buying those things that I am suggesting. So every sale I pick, you know, 2 or 3 resources, always in a bundle, that I can promote, that people can purchase, and that are usually timely. So what I mean by that is in April, I was talking about spring things. During back to school season, I'm talking about back to school stuff, you know, classroom decor. And I actually don't have that many back to school things, which I need to work on. During the Black Friday sale, the only things I am talking about are holiday resources because that's all that anybody wants at Black Friday, let's be real. And so having those things really help because it makes it so that your customers know what to go buy. It also is something that helps you because it makes it easier for you because you don't have so many things to talk about, and it just really helps narrow it down and make life so much easier. So much easier. I highly recommend it. This was, yeah, it was really the biggest strategy and the most helpful thing ever. If you haven't done it, try it. You will thank me. It will change your life. And the last thing I'm gonna say, number 4, is to always, always, always add value. So this isn't like a, hey, go buy my stuff because I wanna make some money. This is a, go purchase some resources that are going to save you time, save you energy, and help your kids get engaged. You know, like come at it from the way that it's going to help teachers. Always add value. When I'm showcasing my products and I'm showcasing like, this is why this is so amazing. It's not like you have to buy this. It's, you know, always telling a story, and it's always helping people see the end result, and it's always helping people just see how they can use them in their classroom. A lot of times you can even do the lesson by making it yourself because like, I mean, honestly, it's not that I do anything that special. It's just that I, you know, put in the time and I know how to do it because I have been doing it. But like, you're perfectly welcome to go make them on your own and use them with your kids. Don't sell them because they're mine. But just in all of your marketing and in everything you do, whether that's a product, whether that's a blog post, whether it's whatever, make sure you come at it from a helpful point of view where you're adding value. Talls. She's not as loud as Athena, but she doesn't stop. Okay, let's continue. Everything you do, whether that's marketing, whether that's posting a product, whether that's making a blog post or making a YouTube video or showing up on stories, always see how you can add value. How can you help someone today? How can you answer a question today? How can you make life a little bit easier? Sometimes that's just with like, you know, you could be funny, and if you're funny and you post a funny reel, that might make someone smile today. That's great, that's adding value. Or if you're like me and you're not funny, but you can make a YouTube video to help people have strategies, and you can, you know, share, like this morning I was sharing on Instagram what my end of year assessments look like for my kids, because as a new music teacher, I had no idea how to assess my children because they don't actually teach you that in music school. And so those are things that are adding value. Those are helpful. Those are things that, you know, help people out. And so everything you do should always come from the lens of adding value. We talk a lot about, you know, making more money because frankly, that's why you're here. But the best way to make more money is to add value. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, I will mention one more thing. I didn't mention anything about long form content, so like blogs, podcasts, or YouTube videos. And the reason is I see those as more long-term things. So they're not quite as in the moment as like an email is, and they last longer. So I don't want to have a video where I'm like talking about a sale, but then like you see it 6 months later and you're like, there is no sale, that's over. It doesn't make any sense. So that's why I didn't mention any of the long form content, because even though I do find it it very helpful. It's not something that I use in my TPT sales strategy. There are some things that you could do, and maybe we can talk about that later, but for the most part, this is what you're gonna wanna do, is things that are in the moment that you're communicating with your followers. And if you don't have any followers, then your job is to go, you know, either start a social, start an email list, start a something so that you have someone to talk to, so you have someone to market to, because you'll make a lot more money that way. All right, friends, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I would love to hear any of your sale marketing tips down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.